All right, your distance formula. You have it right there on your green sheet. Okay, your distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, your distance formula comes from the Pythagorean theorem, just FYI if no one's ever told you that before. Okay, x minus x, that finds the distance between the x values, and you square it. Y minus y finds the distance between the y values, and you square it. That's like the two legs squared. You add them together, and you take the square root to get the hypotenuse. Okay, that's where the distance formula comes from. It's not just this formula that somebody made up and, oh, guess what? Yay, it works. Okay, it comes from the Pythagorean theorem. All right, so find the distance. Okay, so distance equals the square root of x minus x, 5 minus 9 squared, plus y minus y, 3 minus 9 squared. Okay, then we can just type all that in. Now, be careful with this because your square root starts a set of parentheses, but you need to put in the parentheses for the 5 minus 9 squared, plus 3 minus 9 squared, and then close the parentheses, okay? Look at the pairs of parentheses. They got to match up. Okay, so this distance is approximately 7.211. We'll go with that. Okay, now, the way we're going to have to use distance in our equation of a circle is that that distance represents the length of the diameter. Okay, it represents the length of the diameter. So typically, we are not going to want the square root of that. We're going to want to leave it in square root form. So sometimes we're going to not want to take the square root, so we just write it as the square root of 52. Okay, that's what 7.211 is equal to, but we may need just the square root of 52 part. So you just don't put the square root into your calculator. Okay, so number 14, let's do that. Square root of x8 minus x0 squared plus y, negative 8, minus y1 squared. So I'm going to start by not putting it under the square root first. 8 minus 0, you got to put the parentheses squared, plus negative 8 minus 1, parentheses squared. Okay, so that's equal to, I don't know why I wrote d squared. That's just d. I'm sorry. Yes, it's always minus in the distance formula. Okay, and then if I want, whoops, now I can't even type my numbers in the right order. Y'all got me all bent out of shape. 12.042. Okay, so the distance in square root form is the square root of 145, and if we take the square root of it, it's 12.042. Okay, that means a little bit more to us in terms of distance, but sometimes in equations we need to leave it in square root form. Okay, so I want you to write, when you practice these, I want you to write both forms. Okay, I want you to write the square root form, and I want you to write the decimal. Okay.